NFL Divisional Round delivered. Welcome, football fans, to your NFL Divisional Round recap on the Bottom Line View. In this video, I will review and react to all 4 NFL divisional matchups, beginning with the Texans and Chiefs, ending in the main event of the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. And for the sake of this video and my memory, I want to begin with the main event, the MVP versus MVP. Who is the best player in football? Who is the real MVP, most valuable player in the NFL? We may have got our answer, but it was a lot more than simply the quarterbacks that determined the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Before I get started, spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for weekly NFL reactions, recaps, and reviews just like this. Let me know in the comments your opinion on the Bills win over Baltimore, and let me know your opinion of divisional weekend. Did your Lions disappoint in Detroit? Did your Chiefs continue to build the kingdom to another championship? Did the Commanders shock the world? Did the Eagles continue to fly over the Rams, or did the Rams break your heart? Let me know in the comments. Let's get started, guys, with the Bills and the Ravens. 27-25, Buffalo bullies Baltimore. That to me is the headline. Yes, it is. 27-25, a bully of Baltimore. Now, why do I say that? Because not so long ago, a couple years ago, on this same divisional weekend, Mitch, sat here and ranted in this very same seat, in this very same spot, and I suggested that Sean McDermott's Bills were soft. I suggested that they could not win in their building, in the snow, in the cold, when they needed to most, and that their team was not constructed or built for Buffalo. And in this game, what I've been saying all year about this team is watch out. This is the best Bills team we've ever seen with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. This is the best Buffalo football we have maybe ever seen. And the reason I was so confident before the playoffs, midway through the season, after a quarter of the season, I was suggesting that this might be the best Josh Allen Bills team we've ever seen. And the reason I was confident, because of their physicality, because they're a different team at their core. They're tougher mentally and physically. This is a game in which they proved mentally they would not make mistakes. They did not turn the ball over. Meanwhile, Baltimore did on fumbles and interceptions. Baltimore threw an interception early by Lamar Jackson, floating it sky high over his receiver. Baltimore fumbled twice. Once by Mark Andrews, one of the plays of the playoffs, in my opinion, by Terrell Bernard. Bam! Peanut punch right out of his arms. And Lamar Jackson fiddling with the football, getting sacked, refusing to go down, and instead of taking the sack and being responsible, he lets go of the rock. Von Miller picks it up, and he brings it into scoring position. Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills were more responsible with the ball. Josh Allen did a better job than Lamar of protecting the ball. Joe Brady called a game that was very conservative and nearly cost them the game, but it got them the W. And Sean McDermott's team was prepared at the beginning for Derrick Henry. They refused to get ran over by the king. They stood up to the king, and they protected the mafia from being ran over. Derrick Henry, 16 carries, 84 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Overall, impressive efficiency. But he did not get 90 yards in this game. He went under his rushing prop. He did not get 100 yards. This helped because the Bills played from ahead. Buffalo scored 21 points in the first half, and we're up 21-10 at halftime, leveraging what you want to do against Baltimore. Get a lead. Force them to play from behind. And credit to Baltimore. They were able to come back and make this a real good game. But they were never quite able to get that leverage back. And to me, the bully that was Baltimore, the most physical, run-heavy team in football, the best running team in football, maybe even better than the Eagles, did not run over Buffalo, which has been their weakness for so many years. The inability to play physical in big moments, the inability to stop the run, the inability to come up clutch, the inability to not make that crucial mistake, wide right, a crucial fumble, a crucial mistake. The Ravens did, the Bills didn't. That's the story of the game. I could go on a soliloquy about how Josh Allen outplayed Lamar Jackson, and in my opinion, I thought Josh played a good game. You know, he was 16 for 22, 127. He ran his fair share. He scored multiple rushing touchdowns. But Lamar made some plays too, man. Through the air, he had 254. He had 2 tutties, right? He was 18 for 25. I give credit to Lamar. I thought Lamar overall was a playmaker today. Don't mind my chair. It's a little excited for this recap. And, man, this was the most invested I was in a game the entire weekend, man. I was on the edge of my seat. I was biting my nails. I was pulling my hair out. I was watching this game, and I was invested, bro. I was popcorn popping, bro. I was in it, okay? I will say, though, my takeaway is that the Bills are ready. The Bills are who I thought they were. They're physical. They won't make mistakes. They've got an absolute Superman at quarterback. Their running backs are awesome. James Cook, Ty Johnson, Davis, all 3 of them are awesome. They've got a plethora of weapons. Khalil Shakir had a nice game. 6 catches, 67 yards. Their defense, opportunistic. One of the most opportunistic units in the NFL this year. Turnovers, right? They were one of the best turnover teams in football, both in terms of giving it away and in terms of taking it away. They didn't have many giveaways this year, and they had a lot of takeaways this year. And that showcased in their playmaking. A lot of people critical of the Bills and their ability to build their roster is who's going to make a big play at a big moment. I saw Terrell Bernard make a big play, right? I saw their pressure get home and make a big play. For Baltimore, I didn't really see that. I didn't see anyone punch the ball out. I didn't see Roquan Smith make a big play. I didn't see Kyle Hamilton make a big play. I didn't see Marlon Humphrey or Kyle Van Noy make a big play. Justin Madubuike, the guys making the big money, the guys that are expected to step up and be the premier playmakers. On paper, Baltimore is a better team, a better roster. Many would argue they were favored on the road. But Buffalo was mentally tougher, physically tougher, and they won this game because of that. Okay? Baltimore had more first downs by 3, 23-20. They were actually more efficient on third down, 7 for 10, 5 for 11 for Buffalo. Both teams were 1 for 1 on fourth down. Baltimore had slightly more rushing yards at the end of the day, 176 to 147. Baltimore had more yards in general, 416 to 273, right? But the turnovers, the 2-point conversions, Matt Milano, a guy that was missed last playoffs for the Bills. Maybe if they have him, they're in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. Maybe, right? Matt Milano gets a hand on the ball on a 2-point attempt that causes an incompletion on an early 2-point attempt to tie the game at 21. Instead, it's 21-19. And from there on out, the Ravens are still chasing, right? They're still chasing. They're chasing. The end of the game, play of the game, tie the game, opportunity on the line, pick play. To the flat, the tight end goes. Mark Andrews has to spin around and turn around. Ball wasn't absolutely 100% perfect, but very catchable. And Andrews, their guy, the guy that they rely on in big moments to catch the football, did not do it. He dropped a pass with the 2-point on the line for a tie and the game on the line for a tie. right? Maybe Josh Allen goes down and gets a game-winning field goal with Bass at the end. Maybe, right? Maybe. But we never got to see if that was going to be the case because Andrews never gave him a chance. He dropped that pass. Andrews also fumbled the ball. And I have to give Bernard a ton of credit for that punch out. One of the best plays I've seen, like I said. But that's 2 critical mistakes by Mark Andrews. I think he might have had another drop. Derrick Henry had drops. Numerous Ravens made mistakes in this game. It just felt like the Bills, they knew how to handle the elements. Like I said in my preview, they're a better cold weather team. Whether you think the Ravens are going to run the ball better or not, the Bills know how to secure the football better in these elements. They know how to play in these elements better. They're more used to it. And that's why home field matters in the playoffs, man. Penalties as well. Buffalo had one garbage penalty where they were called for a hold that kind of took them out of points on one of their drives after the interception by Lamar. They got a call back. That was a little bit of a 50-50 pass interference to Coleman. But Baltimore was also a sloppy team all year in terms of penalties. 5 penalties, 43 yards on the day. Not a lot, right? The refs really kept their flags in the pockets. They could have called like 3 different unnecessary roughnesses on the Ravens after a play, but they didn't. Right? They kept their flags in the pockets. And I have to say, Josh Allen, he's the best player in the league. He's the best quarterback in the league. I've told you once, I'll say it again. Right? Kingslayer has been, trying to say that the Ravens were going to whoop the candy asses of the Bills. Well, Kingslayer TV or whatever your name is, jabroni, you are wrong. Stop hating on my channel. Stop hating on me. All right? Stop hating on the Bills and Josh Allen. You, sir, were wrong. All you candy-ass individuals who keep commenting on my videos, Mitch, stop sucking off the Buffalo Bills. Stop doing it. Nah, I was right. You were wrong. Suck it. All right? You all suck. You came here to hear that. I know you did. You suck. All right? You're wrong. You know nothing about football. Some individual commented that after I was wrong about the Commanders beating the Lions, like fucking 100% of the population was fucking wrong about that. Okay? Second thing, they wanted to say that the Buffalo Bills were going to lose. You were wrong. I told you. I took the underdog and I won. All right? Why was I right? Because it happened exactly as I said. The Bills have the better quarterback. He's not going to make mistakes. He's going to play better in the big moment in the playoffs like he has his entire career. And Sean McDermott this year, bro, I said Sean McDermott masterclass. Sean McDermott had a good game plan. I honestly think he had a good game plan. He gave his defense the best chance they could. They blitzed. They played a little man coverage. They stacked the box early. They had a little trouble with the size of the Ravens. This is the worst matchup on paper in the league for the Bills. It's the worst matchup. Their size, their physicality, their dimensions, their formations, all that they do offensively, and even defensively. Their run defense can be challenging. Their coverage, their middle of the field defense can be challenging. Certain things about the Ravens, as I broke down before the playoffs, were very, very challenging for the Bills. So that's what makes me believe in the Bills, man. This might be their year because they beat the toughest challenge that I think they will face. This is their toughest test. And you guys, hey, I don't blame you for picking the Ravens, but for you to come on my channel and say, hey, jabroni, you know nothing about football. Well, suck it, all right? Suck it. The Bills win. The Bills win 27-25. The Bills take it. They're going to the AFC Championship. They're going to Arrowhead. They're going to Burrowhead. And the Bills will continue what I think is destiny, right? I think it's destiny, just as it says in Mr. Brightside. Read the lyrics, okay? So, the Bills had more time of possession. They played from ahead. They made less mistakes, and they won the game. And Josh Allen showed his maturity. He showed that he can manage a game without giving the ball away. He can throw the check down. He can run when's needed. He can throw a laser when needed, right? And I will say this. I think Sean McDermott has been a better coach than John Harbaugh this year. I will say it. I've ripped Sean McDermott numerously. I think Sean McDermott has been a better coach than John Harbaugh this year. His team, John Harbaugh's team, takes penalties. The Bills don't take penalties. John Harbaugh's team turns it over. The Bills don't turn it over. The Bills won. Let's go to the other AFC matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs will play at home against the Bills after beating the Texans 23-14 in what I thought was a pretty good game and a pretty good effort by the Texans. The Texans were the first team in NFL history to achieve what they achieved in a game, in a playoff game, and lose. So the Chiefs continue the voodoo magic that is their playoff runs and their potential three-peat. They are the first team ever to do it. All right, at one point, the Texans had 6 penalties for 63 yards. The Chiefs had 1 for 5. The refs were a huge point of discussion in this game. The refs were absolutely, utterly atrocious. They were horrible. There was one call on Patrick Mahomes, unnecessary roughness, late, whatever you want to say. It was absolutely brutal. It was the worst. The Texans are the first team to outgain their opponent by 100+ yards, not turn the ball over, and lose a postseason game. The previous teams were 49-0. 49-0. The Texans had more first downs, 18-14. The Chiefs managed only 14 first downs at home in the divisional playoffs. And I'm supposed to believe that this offense turns it on for the playoffs and they save the good plays? Yeah, okay. The Texans are 10 for 17 on third down against the Chiefs defense that's lauded as great. The Chiefs were 4 for 11. The Chiefs were 1 for 2 on fourth. The Texans 0 for 1. The Texans had over 100 more yards, 336 to 212. The Chiefs had 212 yards. And they won by 2 scores. The Chiefs had 8 sacks, which is why they won the game. 8. The Texans' O-line is absolutely fucking atrocious, as we knew. CJ Stroud maybe held on the ball a couple too many times. But 8 sacks is fucking pathetic, guys. That is really bad. Both teams punted twice. The Texans, of course, probably had the most penalties of any team this weekend. 8 penalties for 82 yards. The Chiefs, meanwhile, 4 for 29. The Texans had more time of possession, 33-26. Yet they still lost by 2 scores. Okay, so what can I say? I thought Travis Kelce had a great game. 7 catches, 8 targets, 117 yards, and a touchdown, proving again why he is an all-time great playoff performer and tight end. You can save your Travis Kelce is the GOAT argument, whatever. You can say that if you want. But in my opinion, Gronk ended that shit when Gronk spiked the like button twice in the Super Bowl against Travis Kelce's candy ass. You've got Patrick Mahomes, 16 for 25, 177, 1 touchdown, an extremely pedestrian game by Patrick Mahomes. He had a couple of good scrambles. He had a couple of good throws, but overall, he didn't really do that much other than take penalties and flop out of bounds and try to take more penalties or try to get the other team to take penalties is what I'm going to say. Joe Mixon actually had a good game for the Texans. He kept them in it. He was pretty good. 18 carries, 88 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Nico Collins had some of the best catches you've ever seen. 5 catches on 8 targets, 81 yards, 16 yards per catch. Kareem Hunt had some bowling ball carries that were crucial at the end. 8 carries, 44 yards, 5.5 a clip, and a touchdown. All right. The Texans only scored 12 points of offense. They got 2 points from their special teams defense. I don't know. At the very end, there was a safety, but the Chiefs got an early field goal thanks to their kick return on the first play of the game. That set up Butker after a 3-and-out with a field goal. There was another drive in the first quarter that set up another Butker field goal thanks to a bogus pass interference call that didn't exist. Was it the pass interference or was it the roughing the passer? I can't remember all the damn calls that these refs made. I don't remember all these bogus ass calls, all right? I will say, I saw weaknesses in the Chiefs all over. I saw run defense weaknesses and concerns against the Bills next week, especially from the I formation and under center. This is where the Chiefs have had problems in the past. I saw some issues with the Chiefs defense in coverage on third down. I felt like Spags came with his typical game plan. I thought there were moments where he did great from a blitzing calling standpoint, and they were able to spam the blitz button against the Texans because they can't pick up a damn blitz. But now they're going to be playing the Bills, who are great at picking up stunts, great at picking up blitzes. Josh Allen's unsackable. He's not CJ Stroud, okay? 10 for 17 still, despite all those blitzes that got home on Stroud. They were still 10 for 17 on third down. Stroud was throwing dots to John Mechie, to Hutchinson, on slants and in-breakers, to Nico Collins along the sidelines, to Dalton Schultz. I mean, I thought the Chiefs really had a tough time, even with their full secondary intact, of really defending the passing game on big downs. I thought they actually had a lot of issues there, in my opinion. You know, offensively, their run game was pretty inconsistent. I thought Kareem did his job at the end. Passing-wise, Worthy was not as good as expected. Marquise Brown and D-Hop did nothing. Marquise Brown, You know, Noah Gray, I mean, no one really did anything except for Kelce. Kelce had 117 of Mahomes' 177 yards. Like, that's all I really got to say. The Texans just forgot to cover him on about 3 plays where he was wide, butt-ass naked open. Kelce, you know, had a 11-yard touchdown. Mahomes made a beautiful play there, stepped up in the pocket, was about to get sacked, threw it as he was getting sacked for a touchdown. It was beautiful. I will give him that. But honestly, I was not impressed by the Chiefs. I was impressed by the refs. I was impressed by the Texans defense. I was impressed by Spags. But honestly, I didn't think the Chiefs looked that good. I think based on the level of play, once again, I said the winner of Bills-Ravens will win the Super Bowl. The winner of Bills-Ravens will walk into Arrowhead and win. And I am feeling confident because I think the Bills are going to give the Chiefs a lot of issues on defense. And I think the Chiefs' offense right now is just not good enough. Even against a Bills defense that I think is fairly mid, I'm not convinced that they're going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. So, yeah, I just wasn't that impressed. I thought the Texans hung in there. The game was pretty competitive overall. They had a chance. What was it? It was, at one point, 13-3, then it was 13-6, then it was 13-13, right? Then it was 20, Fairbairn missed another extra point. It was 13-12, and then it was 23-12, and then 23-14. And there was a 4th down where the Texans went for it where they should have punted. The 1 4th down the Texans went for it, they should have punted. Because it ended up adding up in the end where they just were not able to make up ground in the field position, and that really cost them in the end. But I mean, they won with 212 yards. Like, are you kidding me? But the 8 sacks, the blitz package, and the pressure on Stroud won them the game. Moving to the NFC, the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. That was 45-31. But I feel like I want to end with that game. So I'm going to go with the Eagles first. 28-22. I might want to rant about the Lions. I feel like it. Guys, I barely have a voice left. I've been yelling all weekend. I'm actually impressed with how much of a voice I have left. So if you guys want to Gronk spike the like button just for that alone, me doing this show with a voice that I think is going to go out at any time. I got 3 Bleacher Report streams this week. I got videos every day on the channel. I got Owner's Box videos. Bro, we're just keep cranking out the videos, bro. We're cranking them out. 28-22, Philadelphia wins by 6. They score 12 in the 4th. They score 13 in the 1st. That's 25 points out of their 28 in the first and last quarter. The Eagles win this game in classic Eagle fashion. Saquon Barkley hits multiple home run touchdowns. Actually, 3 of their touchdowns were home runs. Jalen Hurts had a 44-yard home run. Saquon had a 62-yard home run. Saquon had a 78-yard home run. And that's how they won the game. That was 21 points on 3 plays. 21 points on 3 plays that were no less than 44 yards. Wow. Explosiveness. The Rams, in between those touchdowns, I thought were the better team. And I think the reason why the Eagles won was their explosive running game and Saquon Barkley and the sloppiness of LA and not being able to play in the elements quite as well, not be able to protect the ball. You can say all you want about Jalen Hurts. He's kind of ass, right? Like 15 for 20, 128. That's not horrible in that condition. 15 out of 20 is impressive. I thought Hurts overall threw the ball consistently well, accuracy-wise. But from a decision-making standpoint, from a late-game playmaking standpoint, and from a sack, this guy took so many bad sacks. It's absolutely unbelievable. 7 sacks by the Rams in this game. Jalen Hurts looked like Sam Darnold. He has one of the best O-lines in the league in front of him. Fisk gets injured, and he's still taking sack after sack after sack after sack like an absolute jabroni. I couldn't believe it. And Matthew Stafford, I thought, played a pretty good game here, man, especially near the end. He had 26 for 44, 324, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Stafford did fumble at one point. Hurts also took a huge safety in the game, right? Like a huge safety. The score was 16-14, 16-15 at one point for Philadelphia. I never really got the feeling that the Eagles were going to lose this game. Not necessarily. Felt like they were in control from the start. But there were moments where the Rams were certainly better. Like just the Rams' ability to throw the ball downfield. Their ability to hit their back foot. Stafford's ability to hit his back foot and throw and complete and deliver. That was so much better and so much more fun to watch than what the Eagles were doing. Felt like the Eagles would rather hit a home run or they'd lose yards. They'd throw a screen. They'd throw a ball to the flat. They'd throw, Jalen Hurts really didn't run that much in the second half, which has to make you wonder if he's hurt. But Saquon had 205 yards. Like, how do you lose a game when Saquon Barkley has 205 yards, 7.9 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns? Dallas Goedert continues to be one of the most underrated players in the league. 4 catches, 56 yards, led the way for the Eagles. Tyler Higbee had a good game, 7 catches, 54, and a touchdown. I thought Kupp made some nice catches. Nakua made some beautiful catches. There was one down the field. He caught it like this, got both feet in bounds. That was insane. Parkinson caught a touchdown to make it real interesting at the end. The Rams drove down the field, nearly were able to make it happen, but Stafford was not able to complete it to Nakua for a first down on 4th down, and that was it. But I don't know, man. I feel like this is how the Eagles play. They're ugly. They're going to grind it out. They're going to run the ball. But at the same time, I thought their defense looked susceptible through the air. I thought Stafford had, he had 326 yards in the snow, 324 and 2. Now, part of that is because the Eagles' pass rush in the snow is slowed down. Their coverage lost Quinyon Mitchell, which really hurt. Their linebacker position is definitely thinner without Nakobe Dean. Those are all factors. But I thought Stafford was really able to find a rhythm at certain points. Kyron even broke some big runs that I was unexpected, right? 19 carries, 106 yards. He fumbled, which was huge in the game, right? The Eagles were also the more opportunistic team in this game, right? Again, they only had 16 first downs. The Rams had more, right? They had even the amount of 3rd down conversions. The Rams had more yards. The Rams had way more passing yards. Like if you include sacks, the Eagles had 65 yards passing. The Rams had 7 sacks. The Eagles had 5. Jalen Carter was an absolute freak in this game. He had a sack. He had another sack. He had a strip sack. Nolan Smith had a big sack. Hunt had a big sack. Kobe Turner played a good game. I thought that the rookie on the edge for the Rams played a good game. Akilla Witherspoon played a good game. I thought Shula, man, he's continuing to prove his worth as a DC. Fangio was hit and miss a little bit. Had some good timely blitzes, but at the same time, I thought they got diced up. I just think this came down to, there was no penalties, 3 each. Rams punted 5 times, Eagles punted 4 times. I think this came down to, the Rams a ton of sacks. Both teams, 12 sacks in this game, which was crazy, right? But it came down to the sloppiness, and the Rams were just a little bit more sloppy, a little bit less, good with the ball handling aspect. That's where Jalen Hurts maybe deserves a lot of credit. 2 fumbles for the Rams. That kind of turned the tide. The Rams were kind of getting some momentum, and they fumbled twice. Stafford fumbled, and Kyron fumbled. One was a strip sack that set up points. That was ultimately the difference. And Saquon went crazy, which was expected, right? He was expected to dominate. He did. I have to wonder if Jalen Hurts is good enough to win the Super Bowl. I mean, he is not good right now. There's just, their offense through the air is so vanilla. Their run game is even vanilla. It's just that their running back and their offensive line is so fucking good, it doesn't even matter. But the Eagles win 28-22. Exciting back and forth game. I don't really recall any terrible flags from the refs. I thought Cardi kicked the ball well. Elliott kicked the ball well. I thought those guys really kicked it well. Now, Elliott did miss an extra point, which nearly cost them at the end. But I thought he made some clutch kicks as well. I think one from 51, if I'm not mistaken, one from 44. So he maybe I'm wrong. I know he made one from 44. Let me check. So he made one from 44, one from 23, and one from 37. Okay. He missed an extra point at the end. But it felt like the Eagles, they had the game. They're just a sloppy team to watch, and the weather made it even worse. And Hurts is just such a tough watch because he holds the ball so long and he takes so many sacks. I would hate to have him as my quarterback. He's just the style of quarterback that I hate watching. I despise it. So the Eagles move on to the NFC Championship. Their defense needs to play better next week against Jayden Daniels. 45-31, the Commanders win over the Lions. In the shocker of divisional weekend, it cost many people, including myself, teasers, but they pulled off the upset. The Commanders totaled 481 yards in Detroit against the number 1 seed. The Commanders punted 1 time. The Commanders turned it over 0 times. The Commanders held the ball 7 more minutes. Jayden Daniels was flawless from a decision-making standpoint. 22 for 31, 299 through the air, 2 touchdowns, 122 passer rating. He also ran the ball. Not amazingly, but ran the ball. Brian Robinson ran the ball much better than I would have thought against this Lions defense. 15 for 77 and 2 touchdowns. That's 5.1 a carry. Terry McLaurin broke a long screen for a touchdown, 4 for 87 and a tutty. All the playmakers, man. Zach Ertz in a fucking time machine. Jamison Crowder in another fucking time machine. Austin Eckler in another fucking time machine. McNichols. The Commanders. Offense from 2014 shows up huge. Their defense. Big time picks. The kid Sanistril or the Michigan kid. Quan Martin with a touchdown. Pick 6. Jared Goff sold. He looked like damn Ryan Gosling out there, bro, throwing the rock. 23 for 40. 313. 1 touchdown. 3 picks. A fumble. They had how many turnovers in this game? How many? The Lions. They had a fumble. They had 4 picks. That's 5 turnovers. Goff with 3. Jameson Williams with 1. Goff with a fumble. 4 turnovers for Jared Goff. But at the end of the day, you allow an NFL team to walk into your building, set the tone early, look like the better team early. The Lions got the ball first. What happens? They don't do shit with it. They give it right to the Commanders. The Commanders dictated the terms from there on out. The Commanders scored 31 NFL points in one first half. Now, 7 was a pick 6. But how bad does your defense have to be? Aaron Glenn, with his jabroni ass, walking up to every game plan, figuring it out a way to play the most pathetic man coverage with Terrion Arnold and Vildor Kindle, whatever the hell his name is, every single snap of his life. Blitzing, and never getting home. Blitzing from the wrong side of the fucking field every time. This Lions defense is a piece of trash. For any individual to come onto my show, to comment on my video, and say that the Lions lost this game because of Jared Goff, sure, Jared Goff turned it over 4 times. He was not good. In fact, he was bad. But a big reason why they turned it over is because they were forcing it. They were coming from behind. You're at home in the NFC Divisional Round. You're playing a rookie quarterback. You're playing one of the worst defenses in the league. You're playing a team that has one good receiver. You can't get a fucking stop. You get 12 men on the field on 4th down on the biggest play of the damn game. The Commanders went 3 for 4 on 4th down on your candy asses. 27 first downs, 481 yards. Watching the Lions defense gave me a nightmare. The Lions defense was so bad. I hate nothing more in football than watching bad defense. They had no adjustments. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't contain Jayden Daniels. They couldn't stop Terry McLaurin. Zach fucking Ertz. He's 1,000 years old. You know what? Scratch that. He's 2,000 years old. He's mossing dudes. You've got De'Ami Brown out of North Carolina finally showing up and stunting on Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra thinks this guy got picked ahead of me, and this guy got picked ahead of me, and this guy's the biggest drama queen that nobody talks about in the NFL. He's smacking the camera after beating the Niners in a meaningless fucking game. I'm glad you won your Super Bowl, Amon-Ra, you jackass. Yeah, okay, De'Ami Brown got drafted ahead of you. Well, looks like there was good reason because he showed up in the damn playoffs. I know you got 137 garbage yards, you jabroni. I feel bad for Jahmyr Gibbs because Jahmyr Gibbs is a fucking dog. And I don't know what Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell are thinking. I don't know if Dan Campbell is receiving sexual favors from David Montgomery on a weekly basis, but how the fuck are you giving David Montgomery the ball on the second play of the game? 2 consecutive plays in the first series. And you're not playing Jahmyr Gibbs. This Jahmyr Gibbs guy is fucking unbelievable. He had 7.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 105 yards. He only got the ball 14 times on the ground. Because David Montgomery, who's slower than me running backwards in a fucking suit, is their running back that they want to give the ball. And then you've got Ben Johnson. Oh, look at me. I can draw a play up for an O-lineman. Oh, look at me. I can run meaningless flea flickers and wide receiver reverses. Look at me. I'm Ben Johnson. I've got the same name as a cheater who won the Olympic gold for Canada. You know what? Fuck you. Why did you do that stupid reverse play and have Jameson Williams, one of the biggest idiots in the NFL, throw the football? Okay, guys, we get it. Jameson Williams is fast. He's really fast. But for all the speed that he received as a little boy, it was taken straight out of his brain cells. Okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. Why would you trust that guy with the ball in his hands to throw the ball? Why are you even running the damn play in the first place? You're running for 7.5 yards per carry with Jahmyr Gibbs. But again, David Montgomery's giving his sexual favors. So Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't even get the ball, bro. Jared Goff is a goof. Jared Goff, you suck. Jared Goff sucks so bad. I'm so sorry. I apologize to all Commanders fans for doubting Jayden Daniels and saying that Jared Goff was better. I really, really, really am sorry. I don't understand why I thought this. I don't understand why I thought Jared Goff was better. And honestly, Jayden Daniels, he was like, I thought the best part about Jayden Daniels' game was his decision making. And I thought Tom Brady was 100% right. He didn't make mistakes. He didn't turn it over. He threw accurate balls when he needed to. He was on time with his throws, right? There was like 3 downfield beautiful passes that you would chart as next level throws, right? But throughout the course of the game, just the amount of quick throws, the amount of right decisions. Cliff Kingsbury, man. All this talk about Ben Johnson. Man, they had a fucking camera on Ben Johnson like he's Taylor Swift. Like, are you kidding me? Cliff Kingsbury deserves a job. If I'm the Bears, I am offering Cliff Kingsbury my head coaching job right now. Because Caleb, he sucks. Take Jayden Daniels OC. Give Caleb his old OC back. I mean, Cliff is an absolute magician out here. He's got Zach Ertz reverse aging. Zach Ertz. He's got Jeremy McNichols scoring touchdowns, bro. I mean, come on. He's got De'Ami Brown balling. I don't know what else to say, man. Dan Campbell can cry all he wants. Dan Campbell pisses me off. Yeah, everyone loves him. I will see how he does next year. He can cry all he wants, man. I just don't get it. How does this guy, why does he cry so much? Like, what are you crying about? Like, really? Stop crying. I'm done. That's the divisional round. Thanks, guys, for watching. Gronk, spike the like button. Subscribe. Peace.